Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Left Wing. I am TJ Whitehead, powers taken, not given, joined as always by John Cooper of Counterpoint Politics. Good to see you again, John. How was your holiday?
Good to see you, TJ. My holiday was pleasant. I decided to not make content from Thursday to Sunday there, so that was a nice little break. But then, Hunter Biden got pardoned, and I jumped right back on Threads and got in a bunch of fights.
Yes, that was the titular topic for today's show. But I thought of something. I saw you post something on, I'm pretty sure on Threads the other day that I didn't think of till right before you hopped on the show. And I wanted to start off with that because we're not going to have a chance to talk about it again. I think you posted something about complaining when people say that you shouldn't celebrate Thanksgiving because it's problematic. Did I see you post something about that?
Yes, I got a little bit of heat, TJ.
Oh, all right. Got spicy. Let's see.
So I actually made a whole TikTok kind of elaborating.
Oh, I didn't see it.
This forced me, essentially. So sometimes I'll make like a TikTok just because I spent a ridiculous amount of time researching something, and I know the TikTok is not gonna like do numbers, but I'm like, I spent way too much time looking into this to not turn it into a TikTok. Yeah, I didn't do numbers, but the threads from Thanksgiving that got me in a little, I don't know, not that I fucking care, but had people calling me racist.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is just so funny. Like calling someone racist for a take about Thanksgiving, and that being the one take. Like, someone can be racist who said what I said, but it is not nearly enough for me to classify them in any way, shape, or form, either way. Like, I couldn't tell you I wasn't racist because I fucking tweeted this. But here, where is it? I want to bring it up here. So I said, and I'll share my screen.
All right, I can't wait. Kyle, what's up? What's going on, man?
Hi, Kyle. How you doing? By the way, TJ, am I coming in clear to you because you're coming in choppy to me?
Oh no, guys. Oh no, I should have tested my audio. Let me see.
It's not even the audio. It's like the whole thing is just a very bad connection, it seems.
Oh no.
No.
Damn. Well, I don't know what to do, folks. You share that while I'll look at this. Oh, I can't read it.
So I said, people who insist Thanksgiving is problematic annoy me. As long as you reject the weird creation myth that was not even part of the original holiday, Thanksgiving is without a doubt the most wholesome holiday we have. If you want to tear that down because of a bad myth, which most people don't even think about, then you're just being a hater. And I will admit, I worded that in a way so that it would be engagement bait. Not gonna pretend I didn't, but I truly fundamentally believe that if you are trying to shame people into not celebrating Thanksgiving, not only do I think you are wrong from a historical, like factual perspective, but you are also defeating the cause you are ostensibly trying to support. Because if you are, obviously, the Thanksgiving creation myth of the first Thanksgiving, it whitewashes history and the American genocide of the Native Americans. But the thing is, it wasn't actually historically part of the Thanksgiving holiday until like 100 years after George Washington proclaimed Thanksgiving a holiday. It wasn't popularized really until the late 1800s, long after Thanksgiving was already a thing. To say we must not celebrate Thanksgiving because some assholes created a myth and attached it to the holiday is just absurd. Just celebrate Thanksgiving without the myth. Actively reject the myth and understand the problems, but then have a nice fucking dinner with your family and be thankful for things. That should be the end goal. And I don't understand people who are like, no, if you fucking eat turkey with your family, you're a racist ass. I got called a fucking like genocidal racist for this take. And I'm like, come on, guys, you're whitewashing the word genocide.
Well, like to say hello to Free Willy Nomad. What's up? Mark, how you guys doing? Hope you guys enjoyed the holiday and all that. We just heard from a genocide denier, John Cooper. So glad to get that out of the way, John. No, listen, am I still coming in choppy?
Yeah, a little bit, but we'll live.
Well, folks,
it's better now. It's better now.
Turning in an inferior product. Listen to me. Okay, so if you guys can hear me well enough, I want to commend you for doing something that all content creators have run across at times, in which you are really into a topic. There's something you really want to do a presentation on. You do a bunch of research for it, and you compile everything, your notes, and you're ready to do it. It's like, man, this is not going to do well. This is like a like a passion project and you post for the love of the game. That's how you know you are deep into it. Like, you know, this isn't going anywhere, but you do it anyway. And I agree completely. I actually haven't run across that, but I'm not surprised to hear that. I know that people talk about the problematic nature of the origin story, and I didn't know that, by the way, till you just mentioned that the origin story, the mythical origin of Thanksgiving didn't come out like 100 or 200 years ago. I didn't know that it was kind of created out of whole cloth like that. Doesn't surprise me, but I did not know that. And also celebrating Thanksgiving, it's about being thankful and about spending time with your family. When you go celebrate Thanksgiving, do you all sit around and tell the story about the colonists and the Native Americans? Nobody does that. That's just something they tell you in school and you see on TV specials, but no one thinks about that at all when you're actually eating the food. And then there is this segment of the left that's, once again, I complain all the time about how the left is really concerned with, like, the actual topic they're talking about, and they're saying, well, Thanksgiving is so polluted that you can't. No, you know that's not true. You know it's not. Do most of you out there, do you actually believe that Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God, was gifted to us on December 25th in 4 BC? No, you don't. But Christmas is fun. It's fun to spend time with family. You don't got to really.
Okay, guys, I completely lost TJ. And I hope it was, or I don't know. If it was him and not me, let me know. But thank you guys for being here. I'm going to keep talking and hoping that my internet's doing good. Please let me know if that is the case in the comments. But the funny thing about this specific I don't know, flare up was that the people who were telling me that I was the one being racist were the people who were assuming that the myth was real. Like, the people were like, oh, you can't detach this myth from the holiday because it actually happened, and it didn't. Like, that was the really funny thing to me about this whole thing. Thank you, Huge Ass. It looks like something happened to TJ. But yeah. That was really my favorite part of this whole kerfuffle, and you can go watch my TikTok on it. You'll be one of a couple, 1,000 people to watch it. But it was one of those things where the more I learned and the more I researched about this topic, the more I realized that my position was right. And you'd be surprised with how often that happens. And the funny thing about this is that, like, I'd say 80% of the people calling me racist were white people. I had a lot of Native Americans in my comments saying, yeah, no, this makes perfect fucking sense. So anyway, that was just a little kerfuffle that we had. I do hope TJ is able to make it back very soon, because we don't have topics to discuss for this show, and it's really just me and him shooting the shit. So if you guys have any questions that you want me to just talk about, I'm all yours today. But I know the one thing that's been in the news lately is the Hunter Biden thing. And I was very interested to hear TJ's take on this, but I don't know. I've been pretty, shall we say, optimistic. Optimistic might be a strong word, but I've been liking generally the reaction that we've had on the left to the defeat, to Trump's victory, and seeing a lot of the right. Oh, there we go. TJ, are you back?
I'm back, folks. How do I say?
There we go. Just had to carry the show for like a minute, and it was heavy, TJ. It was heavy.
Can't think of a better man for the job.
But wait. Okay, so I was about to go into Hunter Biden, but I do want to ask you this. So I really noticed a lot of the people who were hating on me the most and calling me racist and stuff, I say 80% of them were white. It was really interesting how this particular thing pissed off a certain type of, I don't want to call them a white liberal or a white leftist, but like someone who is militantly, I guess white knighting might be the word for it, about other races that like isn't actually a fucking problem. The funny thing is every single one of them believed that the first Thanksgiving myth was like a real thing. That they had fallen for the myth, and that is why they thought it was wrong to celebrate Thanksgiving. And no matter how much I explained to them that it never fucking happened, and there was not a first Thanksgiving shared between the Pilgrims and the Native Americans, and that they are the ones perpetuating the whitewashing myth, they didn't give a shit. They just wanted to fucking virtue signal.
Yeah, the white guilt brigade is pretty strong. They'll. I find this is, I guess it's not just the white. Some liberals will do this a lot, and I don't know if you heard the part at the end where I was saying how they're married to the idea of nomenclature rather than actual topics in general. And one of these now, this might be something where I'm out of step with the common left, but we'll find ways to like sanitize stuff. Like unhoused is a word for me, is for one. It's like, all right, you're just saying this to make yourself feel better. Really, it's like, well, just because they don't have a house doesn't have a home. Okay, what are we doing here? What is going on? We're just like you could do this to every pejorative sounding word until you're blue in the face. It doesn't make the concept any better. So I think they're just trying to find a way to, I don't know, assuage some guilt they have or whatever. But yeah, Thanksgiving is fine. Celebrating it is fine. You can look at the horrible origins or associated myths with any holiday. It's not like it's Columbus Day or something. Like Columbus Day.
People were literally like, "What about Columbus Day?" And I was like, "What about Columbus Day? That's actually a day celebrating a monster." Yeah. And also a monster who never even stepped foot in our country. It is dumb on so many levels. Thanksgiving is not.
No, yeah. There's like what is the redeeming quality of Columbus Day? Columbus Day was honestly just created to pander to Italian Americans in the early 1900s to get political support. That's it. That's the only reason Columbus Day exists. And the thing, it doesn't have the be thankful for what you have and for your family tied to it like Thanksgiving does. I don't know. It's kind of absurd.
It is, and it's funny. So like, speaking on the topic, there's something else I wanted to bring up. Not that it really matters, but I believe you actually had mentioned this creator to me before. YouTube guy, FD Singer, I think it's
FD Signifier, yeah.
Signifier, that's it. I just went on a binge this weekend.
He's great.
He's awesome.
He's great.
Absolutely love him. But I watched a video of his, and he did our bit where there's another YouTuber called Super Eye Patch Wolf. You ever heard of him?
Mm-mm.
So he's a white guy. But he had him read the title cards to one of his things, and it's like, how slavery and rape defines interracial marriages, and it was like stuff like that. He's like,
that's great.
You don't get it if you're not black. And like he'd be like, wait, I know that like you're asking me to do this, so I'm going to default to your judgment, but I don't feel like I'm the person who should be reading. And he just keeps cutting him off every time. And I was like, he did the bit.
I love that shit. I love it. I've got another one planned for you, John, that you're not going to see coming. I can't wait. I can't wait to do it. I'm not going to do it with the next black guest either. Give me time for the fade from your memory, but it's coming. Just so you know.
Okay. It'll fade from my memory in about 5 minutes. TJ.
Yes.
Don't you worry. You could do it to me this episode, and I would still be surprised.
What happened?
Lights. Oh, there we go. But yeah, so let's talk about Hunter.
Let's go.
What's been your take on Hunter? Because I've actually been pissed off by the whole fucking narrative, and I want to hear what you have to say about it.
Well, the first thing I'll say about, so in case you guys know what we're talking about, why you're watching this show is beyond me, but Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. has decided to pardon his favorite son, Hunter, and for the crimes he was convicted of a few months ago or whatever. And after promising he wouldn't do it, like while he was on the campaign trail, he said that I believe in the rule of law. No man is above the law, and I will not be pardoning Hunter. And he went ahead and pardoned him a couple months before he leaves out of office. So this has led to a few predictable responses. One from the Republicans: how dare Joseph Biden do this? This is an abuse of his presidential power, and he shouldn't be doing this. And then there's been two different responses from the liberals and the left. The one that really annoys me is the one that says, wow, this is giving Donald Trump all the license he needs to pardon the folks on January 6th like it matters at all. That is what, like Nate Silver, your boy, Nate Silver was out there. I don't know if you saw it. He said, like, I never want to hear Democrats complain about the rule of law again. He said, any Democrat who doesn't speak out against this the next 48 hours is giving Trump license. It was like Trump was going to do it anyway. And then there's people who are saying, listen, yeah, what he did was wrong. I mean, what are we going to do? We're going to complain about Trump's abuse of that power and the nepotism involved and then not criticize Biden. And the thing is, like, yeah, they're all right. Honestly, they're all right in a lot. Even the Republicans are all right in some way. Where I stand on it, yeah, obviously, I think it is batshit insane that that an executive can pardon a family member, can pardon someone they worked with, can pardon anyone where there's an obvious conflict of interest. I don't know how you would write that law as saying that you shouldn't be allowed to do this, but it's not the first time we've seen it. The first time I remember it is when Bill Clinton pardoned his brother, when he pardoned Roger Clinton. I can't remember what he did, but I remember Bill Clinton pardoning his brother before he left office. Donald Trump pardoned, I think, Jared Kushner's dad, and then gave him a job in the administration. And so, yeah, this is stuff. It is stuff that people do. I'm opposed to it. I don't think he should have done it at all. But that's just how it is. I mean, that's what are you going to do?
So, like, out of context, it is a much ado about nothing sort of thing. Like, like, am I going to lose sleep over Hunter Biden not going to jail? No, I don't give a shit either way. But in context, I agree with you that people who are like, oh, it's going to give Trump license to, he's going to fucking do it anyway. Stop pretending. But you know what it will do, TJ? It will reinforce the confirmation bias of gettable people that are like, oh, well, the Democrats are just as bad. And that I do think is a significant problem. It's not a political problem because of what Trump will do, because Trump will have done whatever he did anyway, but it confirms the narrative that Republicans have put out there, which is to many extents true, that Democrats like to say one thing and do another. Yeah. And it sucks. I think we talked about this before the break that, when I'm talking to a Republican and they're like, yeah, Democrats did this shitty thing, what about that? And I just have to be like, yeah, you're right, they did. I agree with you. Cannot disagree with you. And this is one of those situations where it's like, yeah, you're right. Joe Biden said he wasn't going to pardon Hunter, and then he did anyway. And that's wrong. Like, it just is. He should have either just fucking did it or not lied about it. But he chose like the morally worst possible path to doing what he did. But that's not the take that pisses me off the most, TJ. The take that pisses me off is the one that goes, oh, how dare you fucking attack this decent man for just trying to help his son?
Oh,
that one pisses me off.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
Yes, yeah.
Every Democrat should hate Joe Biden. It's actually upsetting that that's not the case right now, because he fucked us. Of everyone on the planet, he is the number one most responsible person for Donald Trump taking office in January. His decision to look at the internal data that showed him getting his ass kicked and say, nope, I'm going to run again, despite saying that I wouldn't, is more responsible than anything for having cost us this election. And to just sit here and be like, oh no, I think this wonderful, delightful man who fucking championed the fucking crime bill and is the most responsible person for putting Donald Trump in office. He's a decent man, and I want him to be able to abuse the power of law to pardon his son. Go fuck yourself. It maybe if he just pardoned everyone who had those crimes, maybe I'd be okay with that, but he didn't. He just pardoned his fucking son. That's a dick move. That's an abuse of power. It couldn't be any more clear. And the only way you think otherwise is if you're a fucking sycophant. And it pisses me off, DJ.
Yeah. So the only way that this is a good move is if the Democrats are just going to go full bore into sycophancy like the Republicans have. That even the Democrats who are kissing Biden's ass after this, they still aren't as subservient to Biden as your average Republican is to Trump. So if they're trying to craft like a cult of Biden, why they would do that, I don't know. Or maybe a cult of whoever the Democratic leader is, then that would make sense. But that's not what's going on here. But yes, I actually find that particularly offensive where they say, well, this is just a man trying to help his son. No, he's not just a man. He's the president of the United States, of the most powerful man on earth, using that power to help his family member and no one else. And that is an insult, because it would be something. It's like, okay, everyone with whatever low-level gun charge that Hunter Biden had, we're going to let all those go. At least either the blanket on that. Also, I just thought of this the other day. why didn't he just pardon Hunter Biden on his last day in office like presidents usually do? Because if he'd have done that, the story would have been subsumed by Trump's inauguration with everyone coming in. It'd have been a 1-2 day story, gone. No one would have given a fuck about it. Doing it, in the middle of December, early December, what benefit did you possibly have besides making this a long news story, unless he really is trying to fuck the Democrats again? But also, what's really interesting about this is watching how there's been two reactions. Like you said, some people saying, well, look at this decent man, but others saying, like we're understandably angry, but you're standard Democrats in the news that are outraged about this, far more outraged than they were about Gaza, far more outraged about this pardon than they were about Gaza. That's been pretty weird to see.
Yeah, it is honestly just this fucking Rorschach test for the worst takes imaginable. Like, it's incredible how many wrong takes I have seen about something that is honestly, and as I said, not very important. And like, yeah, if Joe Biden had been a wonderful fucking president, I would have been like, oh yeah, no, that's he wants to pardon his son. It's a little slimy, but he did a great fucking job. But no, he didn't even earn it. No, we can't raise the minimum wage because of the damn parliamentarian. If you're gonna give bullshit excuses for not helping the American people like that, you don't get to fucking pardon your son. I'm sorry, you don't. And you pulled that up because I want to address this from Freewheel, and he says it doesn't matter if he pardons Hunter. I agree. It doesn't actually fucking matter. It doesn't affect average Americans at all. Yes. Plus, it prevents Republicans from dragging Hunter through the courts for revenge for the next 4 years. And that's the part that I take issue with, because why the fuck do you care? Why do you care what happens to Hunter fucking... He's an asshole. He's not a good person. Like it's not like we're like talking about some like fucking saint who's like, yeah, fuck it. There's a 10,000 people rotting away in jail who deserve a pardon right now above Hunter Biden. Yeah. And Hunter Biden's the one getting it. If that doesn't like make you go fuck yourself, like I just don't understand.
Yeah, I agree. And Freewheeling Nomi counters, I fully support Joe Biden's decision to pardon Hunter. The trials were largely motivated by political agendas. Now, Nomad, you're right, they were, but also he was guilty. That's the thing. It's like, it's not like he is some martyr who did nothing wrong and he did everything right and they indicted him. No, he committed those crimes and many more. So I'm not going to feel bad that he's in jail for it. I'm just not. And yeah, it is politically motivated, but it's also true. If he didn't want to go to jail, he shouldn't have broken the law. That's hot take on my part.
And if you're going to say that he doesn't deserve to go to jail, then you should pardon everyone person who committed that crime. Like, he did commit the crime. It's not like he didn't commit the crime. He was proven guilty in a court of law. And if you're going to do that, then like everyone who committed that crime deserves to be out of prison. You have to be consistent about it. And you also have to say, fuck the parliamentarian, I'm going to raise the minimum wage.
Yeah, cowardly. Because look, I get it. Like, if I had like my kid or my brother or whatever, and I had the ability to get them out of jail with a stroke of a pen, yeah, I do it too. I get it. Like, I understand it. I understand the human element of it, but that doesn't mean it's right. Pardons, I would love to do a study on this because I kind of do like the fact that someone can just release someone from jail if they think it's unjust. I was reading into, but it can be abused. Like, I would imagine it's abused more than it's used effectively. I would just imagine that. Like, do you remember when Trump pardoned that Navy SEAL who like cut off that kid's head or something?
Yeah, Gallagher. Yeah. Like his own fucking I don't know what it's called, but like contingent like gave him a fake gun essentially because they didn't trust him to not shoot civilians or something, and he pardoned that guy. That's what I heard.
Yeah, Chief Petty Officer Gallagher, that was his name, and he said, like, he told the people in his unit he killed 3 people a day for 80 days, including like old men and women and stuff, like non-combatants, and he bragged about it. And they had. So whenever someone's injured, the law of war is that if that's a real thing, I'm not just making that up. But if we're fighting a war and you injure somebody, you are under legal obligation to give that person medical aid if they're no longer a threat to you. So if you get shot and you're doing your invasion or whatever, and you've cleared everything up and there's someone bleeding out, you have to patch them up. That's what happened to this guy. And the medic was working on this prisoner of war, and Gallagher just stabbed him. the kid was 17, just stabbed him, and then held up his head and took a picture and shared with everybody. And he was court-martialed. He was found guilty of like 5 or 6 charges, demoted in rank and stuff. And then Trump came and says, "No, fuck that. We're gonna actually pardon him." Not only, I didn't know this till I read about it yesterday. Not only did Trump pardon this guy, but the people who worked on the prosecution against him, it was in the Navy, the lawyers for the Navy who worked on the prosecution, after they got done, they were awarded Navy Achievement Medals. Trump revoked their medals for working on that case. Yeah, that's so. Yeah,
I've never seen such a clear example of a real life not understanding media literacy. Like, then clearly Trump would side with Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men,
right?
And clearly most conservatives would too. And that is just the literal exact fucking case of not understanding that movie at all.
Yeah, well, it's Jack Nicholson's fault for being so goddamn cool in A Few Good Men. I mean,
cool.
Yeah, he was really cool. It's you want to root for him, although he obviously is the bad guy when you think about this. But that speech at the end and a lot of his quotes, I get it. But yeah, no media literacy, it's an easy thing to fall into. But yeah, anyway, the pardons are problematic in a lot of ways. I think that there need to be limits on this. You should never be able to pardon someone in your administration. Can't pardon a family member. This seems like pretty bare bones stuff we should get over with and not have this issue at all.
Yeah, and Freewheelin', I don't mean to be attacking you here, Freewheelin', but you say that you don't care about this at all, but Joe does care if Republicans drag Hunter through the court for the next 4 years. Well, yeah, Joe cares about that, but I don't care, and I want him to operate as if he isn't a real fucking human. And if he is going to operate as if he's a real fucking human, I want him to have humanity for like the fucking people of Gaza that he's dropping bombs on. But like, plus, if his name was Hunter Smith, he would have never been charged. I agree with you. If his name was Hunter Smith and he was some rich asshole white guy, he would have never been charged. But fucking, Hunter Jackson or whatever, like poor black kid, is totally getting charged with this.
Yeah,
and he does all the fucking time. And Joe Biden didn't pardon that guy.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. Like, if you're going to, because that's the TJ. The thing I keep saying is, oh well, Democrats need to like start fighting dirty like the Republicans. I'm like, I fucking agree with that. This ain't it. This doesn't help us at all. How does this improve the Democrats' ability to hold and wield power? At all. It doesn't. It's just to help Joe Biden, and that's the thing that pisses me off.
Yeah, when I read what Nomad wrote there, my first thought was he wouldn't have been charged. Like, he'd have been charged a long time ago. But I think if he was just a regular rich guy, he could have gotten away with it. Because look, Hunter Biden, we do a lot of stuff about criminal prosecution and criminal justice reform. We talk about it all the time. But I am very firm on, if someone actually did like a crime. Now, look, I guess you could argue that a lot of Hunter Biden's crimes weren't super violent and didn't hurt anybody. Okay, I can like. I was reading up on this. I was going back and looking through the pictures from the Hunter Biden laptop to find for the thumbnail for the video. And I ran across one I hadn't seen before. It was a text message between him and some madam. And he was requesting the services of a sex worker for 8 hours, for $5,000 for 8 hours. I had the same look. And he's asking again. He says, "Hey, can I have her for 8 more hours? And how much would that be?" She said, "Well, it'll be 5,000 more." And he said, "Well, listen, you gave me a discount of $100 last time for 2 extra hours. So how about a little discount?" And he talked her down to $9,500. $10,000 for not even a full day with a sex worker. What the fuck, man? I was like, if I had 10 grand to spend on a sex worker, I would not do it. I just wouldn't do it. Like, if I had $1 billion, there's no way in the world it could possibly be worth that much money. You're a rich, good looking, like a dude, Hunter Biden. Just go out and I don't know. That was just weird. So I throw him in jail for that, for just a frivolous use of money right there. The man does not deserve to be free. We just can't let this guy walk around. But no, once again, we understand. We understand why Biden would do this. We understand why anyone would do it. The timing is odd. If he'd done it his last day, this wouldn't be a huge news story at all. But it's hard to defend when he's overseeing lots of other people far more deserving of freedom than his son. And he just said, "Well, I'm going to help out my son." I admit, we're going to criticize that all day long.
He could go on. He could release everyone that he wants to from federal prison. And he just isn't doing it. And like Freeman said, I guess I should go to jail because I own firearms.
No,
no, I don't think you should. But the thing is, there are people in jail for smoking weed that Joe Biden isn't letting, and more people are continuing to go to jail for weed because Joe Biden, he could at any moment legalize weed. At any moment. That he could do it. There's zero political consequences for doing so. And I would argue that he should have done it fucking years ago because it would have been electorally fucking great for him. But like, he could do it right now, and he's not doing that. And it's, again, I'm not upset personally about Hunter Biden being pardoned. It is the overall context of a man who told us, no, we can't have a minimum wage increase because the fucking parliamentarians said no. And even though I have the legal authority to override that, I'm going to choose not to respect norms. But when it comes to saving my own son, I'm going to do everything in my legal power to save him, even though I promised everyone that I wouldn't. That is the thing that pisses me off. And if it doesn't piss you off, I don't get it. Like, I don't understand, unless you just are so pissed off about Trump. You're like, I have no more anger in me for Joe Biden, but the anger for Joe Biden is only going to grow over the next 4 years. Let me tell you.
I want to put out Nomad's comment here. There's still time. He hasn't released the full list of pardons. You know what? Fair point. Fair point. If Joe Biden goes out the door with just thousands of pardons for everyday citizens, he will rock it up to one of my favorite.
Yeah, no. He has the opportunity. I just know he's not going to do that. He's not going to do that.
It'd be against his character. And so all right, that's half the show already. So I want to get, this is a good comment that Mark left here. Anyway, not to derail a fascinating conversation, but there has been much talk about what went wrong and what should have been done about the election. I don't think I've heard y'all's analysis. Well, we have given one, but I'm glad you brought that up because I found a video that I wanted to share. I don't know if you've seen this, John, but this is from a guy named John Morgan, who is a big Democratic donor. He's worth around $700 million. So you know his take is going to be great. And he shares a thought that we had about Kamala Harris, to me, but Democrats... I think that he comes from it in a weird angle. So, all right, I had it up. Let's go.
It was interesting to me. The Democrats, they just dropped the ball when it came to this kind of new media stuff, didn't they?
They're circled by these progressives, and the progressives that were now running Joe Biden's campaign. It wasn't his campaign. These progressives decided that to go on Joe Rogan was a mistake. It was 50 million people worth of mistakes. Trump was 3 hours late getting to a rally because it was worth it to be on Joe Rogan.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, John and I were very much on the side that Kamala Harris should go on Joe Rogan's show. Back when it was up for debate about a week before the election, we said that it's free advertisement. Joe Rogan has never been a hostile interviewer. He may not be the best one, and he has some wild ideas and shit, but he's not going to just grill you on stuff and make you look bad unless you fuck up yourself. And more importantly, and John mentioned, this is the specific demographic that you're trying to go after. Now, I'm under no impression that this would have handed Harris the election, but strategically, it's a good idea. My beef is what he said is, well, you got to understand, she has all these progressive young staffers, and they told her not to do it. Did you catch that, John?
Yeah, no, it's really funny how the term progressive has been thrown around recently, because it has become this just catch-all term for basically everything that isn't progressives. It basically has become a term in if you like talk through the media of like people who have extreme social positions but don't actually have like any idea about like anything other than those like social causes, because it's actually a thing liberals do. Liberals are the ones that weaponize these, ideas of these social causes in order to prevent left-wing politicians from rising up. We saw this with Bernie Sanders. When Bernie Sanders went on Joe Rogan, he was criticized by fucking liberals like Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton for talking with Joe Rogan. I forget at the time why they were pissed at Joe Rogan. But like he was criticized for going on Joe Rogan and delivering his message and getting Joe Rogan to endorse him. And that was coming from the liberals, not the fucking progressives. Every fucking progressive I know was screaming at the top of our lungs, hey, maybe Harris should go on fucking Joe Rogan. And you're right, it wouldn't have changed the results of the election. But it is indicative of the systematic failure in strategy that has plagued Democrats for the last decade of, oh, we can't do this thing even though it would be beneficial because we think it might look bad to a certain type of educated, rich, white liberal. And that is the type of person that they've built the entire party around. And everyone can fucking smell it now, even if they don't even understand it. They can smell who the Democratic Party stands for. And when the Joe Rogan people, many of which are gettable votes, as you can tell by his fucking endorsement of Bernie Sanders in 2020, when they are going to Trump, it's a lot of them. Yeah, sure, it might be because they like Trump, but it's because they see bullshit on both sides and they're just going to the one that feels like stands for them the most. They're wrong about that, but they don't know that. And to blame progressives for Kamala not going on Rogan is absurd because every fucking actual progressive was begging her to do so.
Well, for these folks, I think he means progressive as us. Who commented this? Hold on. Someone wrote, it was Nomad again. He said, this guy has never met a progressive in his life. I agree. I agree. So he's essentially a billionaire. To him, left wingers are just like progressive. I think that's what he meant because he mentioned that I think that there were young staffers that were progressive and they told her not to.
Anyone in their 20s who's a Democrat is a progressive. I actually think that is an apt description of what he thinks it is in their mind.
And so he's saying that I don't like this shift in blame of blame the staff. This happened after Biden's debate. And I saw so many people that I respect. It's like, man, Joe Biden's team let him down. The team let him down? No, you are the candidate or you are the president of the United States. The buck stops with you. It doesn't stop with a 25-year-old right out of college, working on your team. That's absurd. And what did Mark say? Pod Save America had the Kamala people on. They said it was a scheduling issue. They said they wanted to go on Rogan. True or false, who knows? I don't believe they wanted to go on Rogan. Well, they didn't see it as a priority.
It's the scheduling issue. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a scheduling. There's no scheduling issues for Liz fucking Cheney. I'll tell you that. But they had months to go on fucking Joe Rogan. Couldn't get a time.
I guess I could see it as scheduling because it was like the last week and a half before the campaign and she didn't have time. And then, fine. And because they did say, well, because I've seen this, well, come out and see us. It's like, okay, you don't really want to come on. Then it just seems like that to me that like, what's the guy mentioned? We just saw John Morgan was saying Donald Trump was actually late for another event because he thought it was so important to go on Joe Rogan. Trump had a scheduling issue too. Now, once again, it's not that this would have saved her campaign, but it is indicative of the bad decisions made during the campaign. That our general take of it, Mark, was that the Democratic message is tilted to like college-educated professionals. It's not really a messaging that makes a lot of sense to blue-collar workers, and that's been on purpose. That's not us saying that as a guest. That's what the Democrats have been saying for a long time.
And I say this as a college-educated professional.
Right? Yeah,
I was raised in the suburbs, college-educated white boy. I am the person that the Democrats are trying to go after here, and I'm saying, fuck you, stop doing that. I don't want any more of it. Talk to the other people. Like that is I feel like it should lend a level of gravitas to what I'm saying here of like, we're gonna fucking vote Democrat either way. It's a waste of resources. Yeah. Like you ignore the fucking actual leftists all the goddamn time. Just ignore the college educated white liberals. They're never gonna vote for Donald Trump. Who gives a shit what they think? Stop it.
Yeah. Holy shit. No matter you're killing to the comments today. You worked for the Harris campaign and all the progressives wanted her to go on. John is 100% right. Listen, I wish we would have known that I don't know if you actually listened to the show back then because we took a lot of heat for that. I put a video up on that and a lot of people have just roasted it. Oh, we don't need those votes. She shouldn't bother. I like when people say she shouldn't platform. So I'm like, get the fuck out of here. He's like the
Joe
biggest,
Rogan has the biggest platform on the planet, like the biggest.
Yes.
Platform in Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I hate when people do that. It's like, no, these people are already platform. You can decide if you want to go on up, but you're not gonna like raise Joe Rogan's cred by bringing on, Kamala Harris. I don't know. It's
I'm not asking her to talk to Nick Fuentes, TJ. Like it's Joe Rogan. Say what you will, is just kind of an average dumbass. Like he's not. Or I've actually been circling back to Joe Rogan might be malicious now, but I'm parking.
Did you see his comment about Tim Walz?
No.
He said something. I saw a video today where he said that one of the things that turned him off against the Harris campaign was the fact that Tim Walz was a liar. He lied about his time in Tiananmen Square. He lied about his rank in the military. And, if you're going to lie about that, then why should I trust you? And I was like, you endorse Donald Trump, man. You endorse Donald. I'm not doing the whataboutism thing, but you kind of forced me with that kind of take right there. Donald Trump lied about winning the 2020 election. I think that's a pretty big one. That's a pretty big one right there, right?
It's like, I hate to do whataboutism, but you aren't talking about, you are inherently comparing when you're talking about what turns you off, why you voted for Donald Trump over this, that. It's not whataboutism. It's an actual part of the analysis that has to be taken into account. And if you want to talk to me about how Democrats lie a lot and fucking it pisses you off, I will sit here and talk to you about it. I will agree with you many of the times. Probably not on the Tim Walz thing. I really don't give a shit about Tim Walz thing.
No one does. Yeah.
But that one does see. But that's why I'm saying I'm kind of watching Joe Rogan, because my position on Rogan for so long, I think he was cooked by COVID a little bit. But definitely is someone who has a generally good heart about him, is a relatively good person, and is just easily confused and led astray by conspiracy theories. But how he's been talking since the election, it's getting a little propagandy.
Yeah. He's been tilting this way slowly, just ever since COVID, honestly. Because before COVID, he wasn't super political, and a lot of times he was just your regular dude with weird views and good views here and there. But the stuff he says about his deep throating Elon Musk and everything, and just it's just getting pretty bad. Mark, buddy, what'd you write here? Do you think that progressive wing should have more control within the Democratic Party, or should they draft Joe Manchin 2028? You know what our answer would be. You know our answer. Personally, I think they should rally around Mitt Romney. So this is why Mark, you're the reason Kamala Harris lost, because not you in particular or in specific, but Democrats listening to Mark is what got them the loss right here. Where, man, if we could just go after those common sense Republicans, all of those Republicans who are sick of Trumpism, they would like someone like Liz Cheney or Mitt Romney. If they would have run Mitt Romney as the candidate in 2024, I wouldn't have voted for him. Not happening. I'm not voting for Mitt Romney.
Here's the other thing, TJ. Mitt Romney could have run on the Republican ticket in any of the last three elections, and he would have gotten his ass kicked.
He would have gotten smoked. He would have gotten fucking smoked. Hey, we keep saying that, Donald Trump doesn't represent the Republican. Yes, he does. He got 95% of the Republican vote, just like he did last time. Republicans are MAGA. They may have this performative outrage. Wow, they'll always tamp it down to, man, I really don't like Donald Trump's mean tweets. Go fuck yourself. You don't give a shit about the mean tweets. You love Donald Trump and you will support him all the way.
I need to know before you get back. I need to know if Patricia is talking about Joe Biden or Joe Rogan. As she started commenting this, she just has 80 Joe tweets here.
What is going on?
Is which Joe? Because we were talking about Joe Rogan. But the title is after Biden, so I don't know.
Maybe so. Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, Patricia. Either way, I'm fuck both Joes. Honestly, that's my position on this.
But yeah, Mark. Think of Mark. Mark is TJ. And correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm mischaracterizing you, Mark, let me know. But you are the type of Republican who claims to not necessarily be all for Donald Trump, but you didn't fucking vote for Kamala, and her entire campaign, the entire strategy of her campaign was to try and attract your vote specifically. So if you're telling me, hey, they need to double down, they need to go kick that football even harder and run an actual Republican as their nominee, no, you're just going to pull the fucking football again, bro. Like, I don't trust you. Maybe, I know this might come as a shock, but if something doesn't work time and time again, try something else. Because I swear to God, TJ, I've watched this happen. I've watched this happen, and it infuriates me. I've watched liberals start to say, well, Donald Trump is just such a strong political force. There's nothing the Democrats could have done to beat him. It's the political headwinds that caused Kamala to lose this election. No, he's not. He booked a fucking press conference at Four Seasons Landscaping. I cannot even begin to tell you the level of incompetency it takes to do that. He is an idiot. He is a person who surrounds himself with yes men and just wants to hear people tell him that he's the best. That's all he fucking cares about. He's not smart. He has bankrupted more businesses than I will ever start in my lifetime. He is a fucking idiot. And to pretend that he is some crazy, intelligent, hyper great politician because he kicked your ass 2 times, no, maybe consider that you fucking suck. You suck more than he does. He's not that great. You just suck. And I need Democrats to fucking understand this.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an easy way to not take responsibility. I think they're not completely wrong. I think that just like Biden's, especially after Biden's debate performance and stuff, it was already going bad, but that just tanked it all together. That it would have been hard for anyone to kind of muster up a campaign after that. And with the situation she was handling, I thought Kamala did a decent job. You know, it's not like she fucked everything up. Honestly, like I said, for hiding from the media for a month and a half was not a good idea until you look at the polls that was her best month and a half of the entire campaign. Like she was like soaring high until she put her message out. And what Kyle said, I truly believe the Democrats are going to run Liz Cheney in 2028. Listen, not outside the bounds of possibility. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but it'll most likely be someone like Gavin Newsom, someone like that, just another standard corporate Democrat, unless we can turn the tide around in the next few years. But I'm not optimistic. Mark says, but that's how you know he's not in the swamp.
Wait, no. I want to address that comment, TJ. Because, Mark, are you saying that's how you know Trump isn't in the swamp? This is something that blows my mind. Because...
Yeah, who are you talking about?
Because Mark is an informed Trump voter. We've said many times on this show.
I don't know if you voted for Trump.
Did you vote for Trump, Mark? Tell us if you voted for Trump.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You can say what the fuck you want. But, he's an informed person. He's not one of the vast majority of Trump voters who are relatively uninformed about what's going on in politics. That was the vast majority of Trump voters. If you look at the voter distribution by highly informed voters, I think Kamala won them 79 to fucking 21. It was something insane like that. And then the opposite side on the other end of the spectrum. But the people who actually follow this shit and go, yeah, Trump is draining the swamp. First of all, he had 4 years to do that. And the swamp was not drained, TJ. The swamp remained exactly how it was before. And 2, he has just filled up his cabinet with sycophants who it is the richest cabinet in history. I don't understand how anyone can look at this and go, oh, yeah, he's electing a bunch of pro-labor fucking revolutionaries to, help the working class. And no, he fucking is putting a bunch of rich guys in positions of power that they're not qualified to do. And that's just the fact. And so, you can say, yeah, no, he should do that because I like him, whatever. But to be informed and understand that and still go, yeah, he's an outsider who's draining the swamp. No, he's just putting another swamp in. It's just a different flavor of swamp water. And I don't understand people who actually argue that he's doing something good. I can get, at least theoretically, he's better than the Democrats. I don't understand, no, he's the good guy.
Yeah, whenever right wingers talk about the swamp or the elites and everything, it's another one of those language disconnects, because when we hear this and we say, okay, you're against the elites, that you're against the rich and the ruling class and the powerful, and you want to protect the interest of your everyday citizen, that's not what Republicans think, though. When they hear that someone is an outsider, they mean this person's a dick. This person's just a belligerent asshole with no respect for structure or rules of society or anything. And yeah, he's rich. That's great. He's earned that money. Like, so, you know, when they put Jamie Dimon or Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a fucking Kennedy, that the biggest anti-swamp person is going to be a Kennedy. You know, it's Elon Musk is a representative of the common man now. It doesn't make any of the literal richest man in the world. That's what they mean. They just mean somebody who isn't someone they're used to seeing in this job, someone putting on a hat they've never worn before. It doesn't matter if they represent the same interest of the bourgeois, like always, but it's just kind of obnoxious. And Nomad said that as someone who works on political campaigns, I think Trump ran the worst possible campaign you could have run and still won. It's unbelievable. Buddy, tell me about it. None of this is to say that Donald Trump ran a good campaign. I don't think he did. Like once again, like people will, like Joe Rogan will say, well, Tim Walz is a liar, as if he didn't hear Donald Trump say with his whole chest, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cat. That didn't bother Joe Rogan at all. I don't know. This is it's one of those weird things. The people who love Trump are always going to love Trump. Trump got roughly the same amount of votes this time as he did last time. Harris just didn't galvanize enough votes to go out and support it. That's really what happened. Like, Trump did what he did last time, like maybe 1.5 million more votes, and the Democrats tanked it by like 5-6 million votes.
TJ, I remember reading this story one time of a guy. He climbed in like the StarCraft like ladder or whatever, and he grinded, and he randomly got placed against like a top 3 player in the world. And he was like, oh shit. And so he did this tactic, which is known as a like fucking noob killer tactic, that like everyone knows how to beat who's at the high levels. But when you get to that level, no one fucking expects it. So he did it, and he beat this guy. He beat a top 3 player in the world. And for like 2 hours, he was the top 3 player in the world. And then he just quit StarCraft or whatever. He's just like, I'm never doing it, because he knew that it wasn't actually a good tactic. It wasn't strategically sound. It's just the other guy never saw it coming. He played right into it. And that's what the Democrats have basically been doing for 8 years. Donald Trump can only beat one kind of candidate. The only kind of candidate that he can beat is an establishment fucking rich old guy fucking dude that, like, yeah, Donald Trump is kind of like that too, but at least he doesn't walk and talk the part. And that's who he can beat. He'd get his ass kicked by a Bernie Sanders. He'd get his ass kicked by an AOC. He'd get his ass kicked by a Sean Fain. Like, actual left-wing populism. People want populism. Yeah. That's what they want. They don't understand the difference between left-wing and right-wing populism, but they understand the difference between establishment and anti-establishment. The people who like Rage Against the Machine, but fucking hate socialism, like, those are the type of people who make up a large swath of the people who determine this election. Yeah. And if you can speak the anti-establishment language, you can beat Donald Trump fairly easily, because you can beat him at his own game. It's the only song he knows how to sing. But the problem is, we keep running the exact kind of candidate who cannot sing that song, and they lose. And it blows my mind that we can't learn this very simple, so clearly obvious lesson.
Well, Mark here says, but there are plenty of Democrats wanting to tack to the center. Plenty who think the left wing is the issue. That's true, Mark. And they have run the last 3 campaigns, which we have lost 2 out of 3 of them. So
the one that we won was a fucking Mickey Mouse ring. It was a completely unprecedented election that will never be replicated again.
Yeah, there is no amount. You can't move close enough to the center to win this election. That's not what Donald Trump did, right? It's moving to the center is a fool's errand, because it's not necessarily even about policy. I gotta nail this point home to people. It's more about personality than it's about policy. If people can't understand you and connect with you as a person, like, did you see Kamala Harris's speech when she was talking, like, her, I don't know what you call it, but she gave a speech from her office or something.
Yeah, and no, I didn't torture myself with that.
Yeah, I watched some clips of it or whatever, and just like, there just wasn't a lot of passion in there. I know you lost, so there's only so much you can do, but there's like, this is what people are saying. Hey, how come the Democrats aren't angrier? Like, why aren't they as mad as we are? Why is Joe Biden being all buddy? Well, we got to follow the norms and stuff. It just shows that, like, say what you want about Trump, but the Republicans believe Trump will fight for them. Like, he goes, I'm going to go in there and I don't give a shit what happens. I'm going to represent your interests and nobody is going to effing stop me. That's what we need. Like, that's what like someone with passion and someone who cares about something. And Wayne says, I think they should give the elites a tax cut. That'll show them. I know, right? That's a Republican orthodoxy. And John is on fire this stream. Nomad, John is on fire every stream. What are you talking about? Like, this is
I got to give props to Nomad here because I spent probably 20% of this stream directly shitting on what Nomad said, and he still said I'm on fire. Like, I got to give him props for that. But yeah, TJ, it's exactly the thing. Like, that's what people are like, yo, finally the Democrat, like Joe Biden is sticking it to him and just do no, it's not what he's doing.
No,
what are you like how are you so close to getting the right answer but missing this badly?
Yeah, John. All right, John's got to leave in like a minute and a half. I just realized, John, there was a question. I'm breaking. We can cover the stuff next show, whatever. But the real stuff, I had a question that won't fit in the next show. I saw a funny comment from this film show, and they were like asking ridiculous questions. How many xenomorphs do you think it would take to kill Godzilla? Like, if you had like a Godzilla versus xenomorph battle, how many would you need? And it was just funny because, like, Godzilla's like, I think, 300 feet tall. He's the size like a skyscraper or something like that. He's massive. And I think that the discussion that I saw, it settled on, like, one guy said 500. And I think 500 is more than enough. I think that is more than enough to kill.
I very much disagree. I think it would take thousands of.
See, the other guy said 10,000, and I was like, "That's way too many. It wouldn't take 10,000."
Okay, so let's get into this. Because my fiance isn't here to take me out of here.
All right, cool. All right, let's go.
But the thing is, and I don't know what fucking happened to my light. But the thing about the xenomorphs is that they're like Godzilla he's a Superman. He is a Goku. He's an unstoppable force. And that's kind of the point of him. He's going to scale up to whatever his foe is in front of him. And so, as Xenomorph, again, like, is incredibly dangerous to humans. Predators dispatch like hundreds of them by themselves, and a predator couldn't beat Godzilla. So, like, just like scale it that way. I think the better question is, could the predator fucking like society destroy Godzilla? That's a great question. Because think about it this way. All of humanity cannot kill Godzilla. Ever. All of humanity could. Arnold Schwarzenegger killed a predator, which kills hundreds of fucking aliens. Like, just like put it in that terms, I think 10,000 is too low.
Oh, no.
Now the only question is, and I'm not an expert on like Alien, but it does feel like the aliens might be able to consume Godzilla biology and replicate it, and that could be a problem. But just like a straight up xenomorph from the movie, no, it's not. You're gonna need maybe like 100,000.
Oh, okay. Here's all right.
How are they gonna hurt him? They can't touch him; they'll melt.
Okay. All right, so he has the radioactive elements, and he has like the laser breath or whatever and shit. But if the xenomorphs could get close, just a few hundred of them, they would die. But their blood is acid. Like, the acid is strong enough to like melt industrial spaceships. I don't see why that wouldn't hurt Godzilla. I mean, if that doesn't, then this is a fool's errand. Then nothing can hurt him at all.
It's also like Godzilla is like different in every movie, but like Godzilla has regeneration. He has fucking Wolverine healing factor. Like it's Godzilla is incredibly powerful. I feel like this is a underappreciation of how strong Godzilla is. Because I like xenomorphs are all. I love xenomorphs, but like, come on, it's fucking Godzilla. Like,
I think the Predators would dispatch of Godzilla. I think they would simply for the intelligence factor. Because I think that like Godzilla with the xenomorphs is a fun fight because not a lot of brains going on here. There's not a whole lot of like complex strategy. And if Godzilla saw the xenomorphs coming, like if a horde of them came, he could vaporize them with his laser breath or whatever. Okay, fine. But assuming he like walked into a nest of 10,000 xenomorphs, I like their chances. I like their chances there. Predators Definitely. Just because they can use long range attacks on Godzilla, they have advanced technology, and they can try to trap him and figure it out. And they'd love the fucking challenge. They would be.
I would love if I could see Predator like one Predator, like the Predator species would destroy Godzilla, but like one Predator versus Godzilla,
no chance.
It inverts the movie. But it inverts because like every Predator movie it's a scrappy human trying to defeat this ultra powerful predator. But flip that. It's a scrappy predator trying to defeat Godzilla. That's a fucking movie. Hollywood, call me. We're gonna do this.
Make Predator the underdog against Godzilla. I'd like to see more than one. I'd like to see more, and I'd like to see that like them with a ship or something. I think you need that to beat Godzilla without the acid blood. I don't know. That's kind of my thing there.
And with that, I've got to go.
There we go.
Kyle said Godzilla is a socialist on the Far Star YouTube channel. I'm looking that up, Kyle. That sounds awesome. But thank you guys. We will be back Thursday, 6:30. See you then.
Later, folks.